Ìpínlẹ̀ Ekiti, ìpínlẹ̀ ẹ̀yẹ. Ìpínlẹ̀ Ekiti, ulẹ̀ uyì ní. Ìpínlẹ̀ Ekiti, ìmọ̀ tí gòkè àgbà o. Ayé ayé a ò láyé ọmọ fáyé.
Set that ball rolling. My name is Kyle Divine.
Ìpínlẹ̀ Ekiti, ìpínlẹ̀ ẹ̀yẹ.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Ekiti on the Move. I am Tunji Saliu. This week, we are continuing with the present administration's interventions in the education sector with focus this time around on tertiary education. We will also let you know how the state made preparation for the resumption of students in secondary schools to take their senior school certificate examination, which has since commenced. But before then, our quick takes. In focus, redirecting tertiary institutions towards functional education.
On assumption of office in 2018, 4 of the first 5 executive orders signed by Governor Kayode Fayemi were aimed at a new deal for the educational sector of the state. Specifically, Executive Orders 3 to 5 were on the establishment of visitation partners to 3 of the tertiary institutions in the state, namely Ekiti State University at Ekiti, Ekiti State College of Education Ekiti, and the College of Earth Sciences and Technology, Ekiti.
What this presupposed was to give the tertiary institutions a new agenda to operate upon, particularly as regards the philosophy of the incoming government. What we had in place was just an uncoordinated situation. But then in order to coordinate it, we just have to have a signage. And appropriate vision plans were placed. And today we have a white paper that addresses all aspects of the existence of institutions that can bring institutions up to world-class standards, including all our various colleges and the university too. So I think what we have today is a situation where we have a focused agenda by the various authorities of the various institutions.
That particular panel brought out a varied council that His Excellency, the Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. John Kayode Fayemi, gave to the college, a council that is interested in the development of the college. And that white paper also made room for certain restructuring of the college in different areas that has made the college function better, that has cut wastages in certain areas. And I can say that with the implementation of that white paper, the college has started moving well.
Following the submission of the report of the visiting panel, which actually culminated in a white paper, council, that the governing council of the university, was set up. We will not have it so good in the history of the university with the caliber of people that are presently on our council. Beginning with the chairman of our governing council, who we all know to be a renowned scholar. You have quite also a number of distinguished people who actually know what a university is, what a university should be, and also are in tune with global dynamics.
The administration also resuscitated the College of Agriculture and Technology, Ekiti, earlier established in 2013 as part of the overall strategy for transformation of agriculture in Ekiti.
It's a full-blown polytechnic. So agriculture being the, like I say, the the traditional occupation in Ekiti State, you know, is just a branch of it. So all other courses in polytechnic, engineering, and other range of courses will be offered. But they're going to be in phases. At the onset now, we are starting with 5 programs. Okay, that is agricultural technology, which will take care of the agronomy, animal, fisheries, and so on. Then agric engineering, that is agricultural and bioresource engineering, and electrical and electronics. Then computer studies and accountancy, plus general studies.
Shortly afterwards, it was not just a new beginning for these institutions, but for their academic heads, who were appointed few months later. From then on, respite has come the way of these institutions in terms of stability, policy direction, infrastructure development, and academic attainment.
The state government is building 2 faculty buildings, very mighty, okay? And those buildings will be known for our takeoff, but it's going to take some months before the buildings are ready. The work is going on with all those buildings, but right now we have a college in Ekiti. That's a former Mude College. It's a very big place that will be given to the college as our temporary site, and all the buildings there will be, it's quite adequate in terms of physical infrastructure.
About a year ago, we had this challenge with a particular intervention fund from TED Fund, which is up to R1 billion. It really assisted in facilitating that, making sure that we didn't lose it at the end of the day. And if you go around the campus now, you see the projects going on, and they're actually massive projects going on. And when those projects are completed, it's going to do a lot to assist in the fulfillment of that knowledge economy, because we are trying to produce students who will not just graduate and go and be looking for a job. Students who will graduate and be employers of labor. It's somebody who understands what we're doing and who is ready to assist. During our accreditation in November, he gave us a promise of some amount of money for us to use for that accreditation. That gave us an impetus to do more in order to be able to receive the accreditation. I'd like to tell you that with that motivation in November last year, all the degree programs we presented to NUC had full accreditation, every one of them.
I made these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Welcome to the medical profession.
Of worthy mention is the Ekiti State University College of Medicine, which had its first set of graduates after spending 10 years in school.
Today is not just about the induction of our new medical doctors. Today speaks powerfully to the triumph of hope over despondency, determination and perseverance over resignation and abandonment. And we thank God that we're here to witness today's ceremony, the coming of age of our College of Medicine, Ekiti State University. I recall that the graduating students were barely a year in school when my government came into office in October 2010. And by the time we left in 2014, the basic medical program was accredited, the physiology and biochemistry laboratory buildings were completed, the medical hostel was built, and majority of the departments at the Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital had received accreditation.
God again brought Dr. John Kadifayemi as a savior. And within the first few months in office, our College of Medicine was accredited. Our students who have been stagnated for more than 10 years because we couldn't proceed were graduated. And not only that they were graduated, they were inducted. And without his intervention, that couldn't have been possible.
Meanwhile, of primary importance to Governor Kayode Fayemi is the place of functional education in driving his vision of knowledge economy and producing the next generation of Ekiti youths who would not have passed through educational institutions for certificates only, but well-rounded education that marries theory with practice and in developing useful skill sets to become entrepreneurs and productive members of the society. Accordingly, the tertiary institutions have keyed into this vision and policy directive and putting up structures to actualize the change.
I want students to combine with courses they can start on their own without seeking employment. And the curriculum for each of those courses is ready, vetted by the departments, and we're ready. In fact, let me say, we're ready for the NC, we're ready for the degree. We have courses like textile science. We have courses like, in fact, events management. We have courses like entrepreneurial studies. We have so many entrepreneurial arts and so on and so forth. Things that students will learn here. And then even before they graduate, they will have already started making money with those things. That's the focus we have. In fact, when we discuss with His Excellency, the Governor of Ekiti State, that's his focus. And we discover that, oh, fine, we have a visitor who is interested in what we are trying to do. And he has his full support.
A very functional and viral entrepreneurship study center. And you can take a look at the facility. And there are quite a number of state-of-the-art facilities that we use to train our students. It is compulsory that before any student graduates from the university, he must at least be versed in one vocation. Let me put it so to say. And quite a number of them who are actually versed in several vocations. So the university is not unaware of the dynamics, in the system, of the need to more or less to de-emphasize, the idea of looking for a white-collar job. The university is now focusing more on producing graduates that will be employers of labor, not employees.
The College of Agriculture and Technology is, is addition to opportunity for our youth to come for training, and our emphasis there is to impart skill, not only to the students, but also to other members of the community, because we're going to come up with a lot of innovative programs, training, like artisans or even professionals who want to invest in agriculture. In particular, we have partnership with ACO. That's ACO Zambia. It's an international organization. They are based in Africa. Their headquarters is in Zambia. All right. We are going to partner with them in establishing what they call fisher farms. Okay, and that's a commercial farming. And our students will key into that.
Next is the teacher/student welfare, which the current administration has given a pride of place at all levels. This has not only boosted the morale of staff, but helped students to surmount some of the challenges of acquiring quality education in a very challenging environment.
We have a scholarship procedure in place, and we've done that a few months ago. We also have the bursary arrangement in place, and that also commenced, and I'm sure we must be nearing completion now. Government has put all this in place for the welfare of students. This is apart from the general infrastructure in the universities for the purpose of students' welfare, and then the commencement of housing projects by some authorities of the institutions.
Our university is not yet fully residential. In January this year, our visitor, Dr. John Kayode Fayemi, facilitated the signing of MOUs between the university and two genuine and credible investors who will move the site any moment from now. One of the investors will be providing staff quarters for the university. So, in no distant future, by the grace of God, our staff will be designing on campus. By the grace of God, we'll also be moving to the site any moment from now to construct those facilities that will accommodate at least 6,000 students. So, within the next few months, by the grace of God, we have a substantial number of our students who will be residing here on campus, as well as principal officers and other staff.
Our subvention has been paid as and when due, and that has helped us a lot, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, when no single student is paying any school fees. Let me assume the subvention does not come. It's as good as the college will have closed down. And with that, we're able to do the little we can do. It's not up to what we're supposed to do for members of staff, but at least we're able to do a little that could sustain them to a level.
The next few years will see to the crystallization of some of the interventions being put into the improvement of tertiary education in Ekiti State.
Staff quarters within the next 2 years, by the grace of God, like I said, must be in place. The student hostel within the next 5 years must be in place. Some of these new programs that I want to introduce must be in place. Online mode of teaching and learning must have been fully granted.
In the next 5 years, I see this particular place as a model all over this nation for entrepreneurial studies, a model for vocational studies, a model for technical studies, a model for where parents will send their wards when they don't want the wards to give them the problem of seeking employment after school. I also see this place in the next 5 years as a fully entrepreneurial focused college of education. And when you look at the foundation of this college of education in 1977, that was exactly the reason it was established.
Welcome back. So much to look out for in the coming years. Now to our story on school resumption.
Students in the senior school certificate class, otherwise called SS3, eventually returned to school on Monday, August 10, after about 5 months stay at home occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. This was to allow them to participate in the Regional West African School Certificate Examination, which commenced on August 17. The resumption itself was not without anxiety over safety of the returning students in the light of the ravaging viral disease across countries and continents. However, with the ease of lockdown to accommodate public engagement, enlightenment on the disease, growing compliance with safety protocols, and the prevailing sentiment that the candidates should not be made to miss out of the all-important annual regional examination, the stage was set for their return to school. In Ekiti State, one of the first states in the country to take proactive steps against the disease in March, and which today has one of the lowest incidence and death rate, reopening the schools was the highest sense of responsibility. Governor Kayode Fayemi, immediately after announcing the reopening of schools for the students, took a statewide tour of some of the schools to see the level of preparedness himself.
The whole point of going around today, so that
All the schools have their Veronica buckets, they have the thermometers, they have the sanitizers, and they are arranged in such a manner as to allow for social distancing. Some have done it better than others. What would happen is that the Honorable Commissioner for Education and his team will still undertake some activities between now and tomorrow morning, just to be sure that we get it right. Although we have a week before the exam starts, I would much rather this is tidied up. And I will continue my random monitoring in the course of that period.
1 week after this, and with measures in place, the school gates were thrown open for students to return for preparatory classes, as well as their examination, which commenced on August 17.
We've been at home for the past, let's say, 4 months now. So everybody is happy to be back in school, and especially to write their final exam. We're supposed to have written it since April, May. But now we are happy to be back in school at least now to write the exam. I'll be reading overnight, attending lessons, and my brothers too, they do coach me at home.
I'm going to work, and when I resume, I'll read my notes and I'll do my house chores. Then at the night, I will read and then I'll sleep. And when I wake up in the morning, I read before going to work.
It has not been easy for me, not only me, for all the students, especially the SS3 students, because what they ought to have done days back, they are yet to do it, as in this pandemic of 18. So, and we are all happy and grateful to God Almighty, even to the government, for calling us back to school so that we can write our examination. Teachers who have been trying and be putting on all the possible efforts in order to bring us back to what we have learned and some that we have forgotten. And for we also, many things that we have been taught, we have forgotten. But through the help of our teachers that are just like giving us revision, we are able to recollect.
Based on the COVID-19 and particularly the social distancing of a thing, it's being the first time is somehow scary. Most of us are excited that some are scared that how do we sit down? Like we are sitting down instead of the normal double chair we do use, is now reduced to just single chair and space in between. So though it's not supposed to affect, because we are expected to rely on what we know and not what our fellow colleagues know.
Our school has made water system for us for daily washing events, and we wash our hands at least 5 times daily to ensure that our hands are bacteria free. Then the state government, they come to school for routine checks to ensure that the students are maintaining social distances, and the school itself organizes daily checks.
We have been told to stay safe and keep ourselves safe. Then we were instructed to use our sanitizers and liquid soap to wash our hands every time, at least 5 times daily. The school also made sure that there are taps that we can just use without putting our hands on the tap, just with the tap of our feet. Then we are good to go.
No face mask, no entry. All the government has given us and all that other people, good individuals that they have given us, we have put them in use. Like the Veronica buckets, the soap, the sanitizers, they are all in use and are put at the strategic places in the school.
To ensure that students are not lumped together. Teachers are placed at strategic places to monitor them so that we will ensure safety throughout the period and even beyond. And the teachers too, you can see the teachers with their face masks, see the keeping distances, even with their sitting arrangement, everything is in compliance with the COVID-19 protocols.
We can only wish the students good luck in their examination. Let's quickly look at our fact file before we go. Okay, that will be all for this week. Do join us for another episode next week. Remember, you can watch this episode and previous ones on our YouTube channel, Ekiti on the Move, and also give us your feedback on our social media platforms showing on your screen. Do continue to stay safe by observing all directives regarding COVID-19 pandemic. See you next week.
Òpinlẹ̀ Èkìtì, ulẹ̀ Uyini, òpinlẹ̀ Èkìtì, mọ̀ ti gòkè àgbà o.